beta system, it's in operation. We have happy customers already. End of second quarter, we go public, and I think it will be a wow effect for the owners here in Berlin. The scheme will start with 1,500 e-Golf vehicles to be followed by 500 e-Ups in the early phase of next year. And then obviously, in the end of 2020, we will change to our ID family here in Berlin. Expansion to other cities in Germany and in Europe is firmly planned and scheduled. Our customers do have a general positive attitude towards e-mobility. One of the big mistakes we make when we think, where are these customers? They are positive, but they have concerns. They have concerns and they want information. And they have justifiable requests for information on this technology. This is why we have launched a comprehensive information campaign on e-mobility, which we called the ID Hub. It's live already. You can tap on it and access it through our websites. It's available online. It's an online content platform that answers all conceivable questions concerning operating, owning, and actually getting in touch with electric cars, and aims to educate the customer with entertaining stories, references from customers who do own electric cars already, and informative facts. This ID Hub will morph over time with all of the questions we are gaining from our customers. We will build an even more intelligent platform of information. This is not about only transitioning a car. It's about actually making comfortable information, bringing comfortable information to our customers. With this type of communication, we are clearly breaking new ground. We have started our campaign more than 1 year before the market launch of our first ID model in 1 year time. We are not concerned solely with the introduction of a new product, but even more so with a new attitude towards Volkswagen, a new style of Volkswagen, and with the beginning of a new movement which we embark on with the first car of the ID family. The ID is a symbol of a new movement, of moving from where we are to a sustainable footprint as a company. Today, this future will become more tangible to you and to our customers. All the ID models in our ID family will be called ID. This is a real reveal, not a surprise. They will all be called ID, all cars from Volkswagen brand on the platform. ID stands for intelligent design, strong identity, and visionary technologies. It's not an abbreviation for a concrete technology. It's an idea, actually, that we will launch actually with this family of cars. You can see this as a franchise, a portfolio of cars in the portfolio of Volkswagen. It is actually a symbol of the future. It's not an abbreviation of a specific term, but it symbolizes that these vehicles will be a combination of zero emission, automated driving, intuitive operation, and personalized connectivity. The first model in our new ID family is the ID.3. Now you ask the question, why is the first car called ID.3, not ID.1? Now that's a good question to ask. The internal world of Volkswagen, since basically our birth, classifies our world into different groups. The figure 3 stands for compact class. And the compact class is the home of Volkswagen. That's where we are strong. That's the class we fully understand. It's the class of Golf and Tiguan and other brilliant cars around the world. The 3 shows that we are starting from the middle of the range, the heart of Volkswagen where we sit today, an approach that we've always adopted successfully. Start with what you know best. Put your best foot forward. This figure indicates the possibilities of expansion both up the range, but clearly down the range as well. We will have a large number of projects in the pipeline. Some of them you do know as show cars, and we will be quickly filling numbers up and down, starting with up and then going down. With the ID, we'll be opening the 3rd major chapter of strategic importance in the history of the Volkswagen brand, and that's the key driver for the name 3. Following the Beetle, which has made individual mobility and mass mobility possible throughout the world and left the footprint of the Volkswagen brand actually as a strong brand in Europe, in South America, in North America. That actually opened the first chapter of our brand. The second chapter was characterized by the Golf. It democratized high quality levels and advanced technology and has led to the brand that we know today. Top of volume, asking a price premium because we actually have worked our way into this position over many decades. The ID.3 will be the first model based on our innovative MOB platform. In addition to many other advantages, this platform guarantees an efficient package and a large and flexible interior that's unusual in its class. From the outside, the ID.3 will be as large as a Golf, so a size that you're all aware of. In the interior, it will be as spacious as a medium-sized car. It's a stunning effect when you sit in the ID.3. It's a new world of space around you. It's very, very impressive when you actually first get to drive in this car. The ID.3 is sufficiently compact for an urban environment like here in Berlin and sufficiently mature to meet the demands of a family car as their main car. And that's the transition we're embarking on. Making an electric car the first car of the family, a first car to operate, basically being able to cover the needs of daily family lives. The ID.3 is a perfect match for everyday life and every lifestyle. We will be offering the ID.3 in 3 different battery sizes and ranges between 330 and 550 kilometers in accordance with WLTP. These data represent the current status of the project. Final homologation data will be available around September when we introduce you to the car in Frankfurt. In everyday use, the range may be shorter depending on temperatures and individual driving behaviors. We all know that as we are individuals and we don't drive the same technology the same way. This is purely a matter of physics. This is why we will always be indicating an expected practical range in addition to the WLTP range. I think it's a sign of clarity to our customers, and we want to cover more than 80% of customer individual driving and travel habits in this data. This, for example, will result in an expected practical range of 300 to 420 kilometers for the 58 kilowatt battery, which most of our customers are likely to select. So if you're conscious, you can get to 420. If you drive fast and the environment is changing, it can go down to as little as 300. But that's a realistic range, and we don't want to sort of trick our customers in this case. The ID.3 features a standard fast charging function for a maximum of 100 to 125 kilowatt DC charging. On this basis, even the ID.3 with the smallest battery will take on energy needed for at least 260 kilometers of range during just a 30-minute coffee break. I think it's a good way of describing 30 minutes and how much length and how much distance will you be able to charge in that time using a 100 kilowatt DC charger. I don't want to reveal too much today. You can really look forward to an exciting world premiere of the ID.3 production car at Frankfurt Motor Show. It's going to be the breaking show for this brand. It's not only about cars, it's about a new attitude, a new look, a fresh design of the brand. You will feel extremely, I think, welcomed. But there are 4 things I'd like to promise to you. Firstly, we will hand over the ID.3 to our customers in a completely carbon neutral form. We are working with our suppliers and our partners to achieve this goal in the entire supply chain and in the production of our battery cells by using green renewable energy. So our company is using that way and our suppliers. This will be continued at our own first electric plant in Zwickau. It's operated with green energy. Everything which we cannot achieve through our own efforts or the efforts of our supply base actually in creating this car will be compensated 1-for-1 for certified climate protection projects. And if the customer wants to, he can then keep the ID carbon neutral over the entire service life by using eco-power supplied by Elli. This really means that we are moving from a negative footprint in production to a neutral footprint in production at handover. I think a great sign for our customers, and it can be kept green and carbon neutral if the customer goes green actually in the life cycle of these cars. I think it's a fantastic step ahead. Secondly, the ID.3 will be affordable and economically viable. The starting price will be, as promised, under 30,000 euros. The ID base model will be available from market introduction in summer next year, and we will produce this car in 2020. So no fooling. If somebody wants a naked stripped car, he can get it, and the base range for 330 kilometers actually in the year 2020, as promised. In various countries, state subsidies can be deducted from this price. A total cost of ownership will be lower, i.e., approximately 30% lower service costs than in comparable combustion engine cars. So beyond the price, running and operating an electric car will produce much lower total cost of ownership actually compared to today's footprint. Thirdly, the ID.3 will remain updatable and upgradable over its entire service life and will therefore improve continually. Every ID sold will be already equipped with a comprehensive set of systems and hardware, which will be upgraded regularly either through our dealer network or over the air. As our software develops and improves, so does the ID of our owners. And last but not least, the ID.3 will be a real fun vehicle. You can look forward to thrilling acceleration and a fantastic spacious interior and an intuitive operation. We've been testing the cars now in the past weeks between Wolfsburg and Berlin. This is a 200 kilometer distance. And it's a really stunning, unique experience to drive this new mobility system of Volkswagen. It is Volkswagen, but it's really Volkswagen of next generation. You will love it when you get your hands on those cars. Thanks to its new natural voice control system, the ID.3 will respond to your wish and your command. But what I find especially charming is the fact that the ID.3 will welcome its driver as he or she approaches the vehicle. The ID headlights or the eyes of the car of the ID.3 have an animation system which smiles at you when you get to the car. We have given the ID.3 a real face, a real strong character that radiates personality through and through. It is to become a companion of the family and the owner or the driver in everyday's life, and we are convinced that most of these ID.3s will have personalized names. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about our pre-booking. From today, we are accepting registrations for an ID.3 production slot. For this pre-booking scheme, we have configured a special first edition ID.3 First, as you see behind me. We are offering this edition in 4 colors and 3 versions. All versions will feature large wheels and comprehensive equipment. So I'll just give you a few examples. The ID.3 First will have convenience features just as including voice control and standard navigation system that's required, obviously, to find your way into the charging world. The ID.3 First Plus comes with additional IQ lights, B-color exterior and interior, so it's look dominated. And the ID.3 First Max, which will be packed with innovations. I find the augmented reality head-up display and the windscreen especially cool. It's a new dimension of navigated drive when all of the signals are actually on the road ahead of you. Very much, I think, an engaged and involving drive and change of the car. This car comes as well with a large panoramic roof to really feel even more spacious in the inside. All 3 versions will have a 58 kilowatt hours net battery and a range of up to 420 kilometers in accordance to WLTP. So that's the common denominator of these cars. Our customer research in the last 2 years has shown that the configuration of our ID.3 First will probably represent the most popular versions of the ID.3. It's the choices that people have shown us in the last 3 years they would pick on an electric drive car for the future. If you want to have an ID.3 First vehicle, it's really quite simple. Just like everything in the case of ID.3, you see more about that in Frankfurt. Configuring these cars will be so simple, more simple than ever before in the Volkswagen world. To start with, the Volkswagen only needs to fill, or the customer only needs to fill in a few information on the pre-booking website, again indicated behind me. Customers can also use the ID Hub as the information source and then actually move forward to the registration hub. For the registration deposit of 1,000 euros, any customer can secure a non-binding option for an early production slot at our electric plant in Zwickau. The first cars built will be customer cars going to customer hands. And that's the key difference of our operating model going forward. The registration deposit will not be credited to Volkswagen, but will be deposited on behalf of the customer. In Germany and Spain, for example, the Volkswagen Pay system will be introduced, an e-wallet, which will be introduced with the pre-booking, which will then be successfully used actually for in-journey booking of services in later stages. This means that the customer always has retained ownership of their deposit. It's just basically taken away from the cash deposit into a blocked wallet to make sure that actually it stays customer money. We want our ID3 first pre-bookers to feel that they're really part of a special community, and we'll be treating them accordingly. Following their registration, they will regularly receive updates and exclusive information on the ID3 and the ID First and e-mobility per se, as always, especially getting into invitations to exclusive events arranged by our importers. This will be possible with the ID3. For the special first edition with its larger battery pack and exclusive equipment, the target price will still be under 40,000 euros. The state subsidies for e-mobility in various markets are deducted. This amount can also be considerably lower and even more attractive. But we have another very interesting feature and highlight for ID3 first customers. They will receive the exclusive right to charge their vehicles for free during the first year of operation up to a maximum of 2,000 kilowatt hours in public charging. This will be available in all public charging stations connected by the Volkswagen charging app WeCharge, and also using our long-range Ionity rapid charging network. By the way, Ionity is operated by Green Power wherever technically possible. It makes sense to register for an ID3 fast. The ID3 First is limited to 30,000 cars, and just to preempt the question, no, we are not going to be more than 30,000 cars. 29 European markets are taking part in the pre-booking theme, and they will open the pre-booking today. And I'm pleased to be able to say that several markets have already had recorded considerable interest ahead of the pre-booking phase, specifically Norway, which is the trendsetter in Europe for e-mobility. Other key markets include Germany, Netherlands, France, the UK, and Austria. We are extremely pleased about the response that people are giving us from the ID, and they should not wait too long and hesitate too long to actually activate the pre-booking. So what will happen for the pre-bookers next? Just after the International Frankfurt Motor Show, we will be starting the ordering phase for pre-booking customers in most markets. With their registration number, which they actually receive on behalf when they actually place their 1,000 euros, these customers will then be able to place a binding order for one of the 3 exclusive ID3 First models with their local dealer of choice. In Germany, binding orders will become possible with the new dealer contract being in place in April 2020. Up to that point, customers will be able to cancel the registration at any time without charge, obviously. Production start of these cars will be the end of this year as planned, and the first cars produced will be reserved for the pre-bookers. Over the coming years, we actually intend to deliver more than 100,000 ID3s each year. So it's now time to officially launch the pre-booking phase. Ladies and gentlemen, the ID3. Now you can. So, isn't that a stunning foiled car? Beautiful, even as a disguised shape. It's the most, I think, exciting foiled car I've ever seen in my life, representing this new Volkswagen movement, our ID.3. How do you like it? I know you're holding cameras, you can't. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are really sort of excited as a total team today, including our dealers, to really start this new wave of mobility for the Volkswagen brand. And I don't want to go through the highlights once again. But I can promise you that every element of this launch will be treated differently to any launch we've ever had before. And so does the media campaign for this ID.3 car. I move aside a bit. So here you go, easy. Huh? So, dear friends, you might know that Volkswagen is a proud sponsor of the German National Football Association. And this association holds a key event in the capital of Germany, Berlin, in this place, just a few weeks from now. On May 25th, we will hold the cup final in the city, in the Olympia Stadium, which has become the finale for the football season, with whole Germany watching, inviting the world to join and celebrate football as its best, with us being proud sponsors. And the team has used and leveraged this opportunity to electrify Berlin on May 25th. The campaign pre-introducing ID.3 and the ID family and the pre-booking will break on May 25th here in Berlin, and will then actually successively flow through Europe for what we believe a groundbreaking campaign to show that Volkswagen is moving, Volkswagen is changing, and Volkswagen has a long-term idea to change the mobility footprint for all of us. So I'd like to introduce you not only to the ID.3 model car, but I'd like to introduce you to the new campaign ahead of the time on May 25th. Enjoy the new life of the ID family.
This is for all of us. All, as in everyone. The many. The millions. It's time for a power shift. It's time to plug in. It's time for electric cars for the people. Electric mobility from Volkswagen. Cars that speak to you, learn from you, and connect you to the world. Cars that are as alive as you are. Cars that can reach new milestones. For everyone, in every shape and size. By harnessing power for the few, one can make a change. But by harnessing power for the many, we can change the world. ID. Volkswagen. Just electric. Start electric. Search Volkswagen ID.
So, I hope you will enjoy this as much as we do. It's quite an experience for us as a brand to start this new life with our customers, with our dealers, with our team, with our employees in the coming years and months. What you see here is just a pre-step to what you can expect from us in Frankfurt this year on the International Motor Show. Just by the way, if you live in Berlin, this installation will stay here for the next month until end of June, so people can take a look and actually have a look at the pre-bookable ID.3 first edition. Mark?
Thank you, Jürgen, for the quick introduction. We're happy to take your questions now. For that, please stand up because it's a little bit dark and hard to see here from the stage. And then somebody will come with a mic so that everybody can hear your questions. So, first question. Yeah, we have it here.
Hello. My name is Maya from the EAM magazine. I have two questions, please. Could you give us some information about the warranty conditions according to the battery for the pre-booking persons? And the second question, all the values you announced today, the energy amount, do you mean this is a net or gross value? Thank you.
Okay. Let me just start with the end. It's net values, not gross values. Sorry, so what was the first question?
Warranty.
Warranty. Warranty is regulated clearly. It's an 8-year warranty with up to 160,000 kilometers with a minimum guarantee of 70%, which in real practice we've seen we will exceed by far. But we're going to give a minimum as a guarantee. 8 years, 160,000 kilometers.
You gave a lot of details about the battery, about the range, but nothing about the power of the engine. Can you tell us something about this? And will be only one rear engine, or will the top version will have also one more engine in the front? And second, there are some rumors that cobalt resources are not enough for the next years, and it seems that the problem is for the next 2-3 years. And you said that you will produce more than 100,000 in the next year. Do you secure these cobalt resources? And the last question is, the next Golf 8, which will be shown at the end of the year, will be the last Golf? Thank you.
Well, let me get started with the end. Clearly not. Golf is the heart of our company, will remain heart of the company, so there's no plan to stop with 8. 8 is going to be a brilliant Golf. You will see when we show the car. Let me start with some of the questions. Cobalt, I think a good question. I think you've read that we are committed to securing safe and actually regulated supply for cobalt, because it's not only about having the volume, but having it in the right way. So we are engaged with partners that can secure work ethics and work environments that we want to see as suppliers. We have warranted supply for the coming years. And as the chemistry mix in our batteries will change, we will get less and less dependent on cobalt actually being part of our battery system. So it's a sort of an issue that we feel sort of strong about. We want to actually have secured and actually ethically correct produced cobalt in the beginning. But with time, cobalt will become less important in our battery chemistry. Oh, engine. All of the rest, I know that you have tons of questions on the car, will be revealed in Frankfurt Motor Show. So we will talk about technical details, specification at Frankfurt. Today is just the spiff for starting basically the journey with us. In a few months in Frankfurt, we will tell you all about the details and technology and power ranges.
Good. Next question we have here, and then...
I have 2 questions. So my first question is, you mentioned that you will deliver 100,000 ID3 in next year. When would it be at earliest? And my second question is, I'd like to know your launch plan outside Europe, especially in US, China, and Japan.
Okay. I think there's just one thing I need to correct. I've said that actually on a running year, we'll be producing 100,000 plus IDs, not in the next year, 2020. So the production will be below 100,000 in the year 2020. But we will have a second car going online as a production car in the coming year as well. So there will be a good supply for ID3 models and the next car coming. Again, all of that gets introduced to you at Frankfurt Motor Show. So we are building capacity. We are ramping up the plant. The plant has a capacity of 300,000 cars, and we are obviously keen to fill capacity as soon as possible with ID3 and other members of the ID family.
Knüpfer is my name, from All Electronics. Other companies are expecting big developments with fuel cells. You are committed to electrical cars. Don't you think that you miss a very important market?
Not at all. We are, I think, very transparent on this technology. We do believe that fuel cell has a role to play for the future, but it won't help in the next decade. We want to make a big step ahead in reducing our CO2 footprint now. We can't wait until fuel cell becomes ready to get deployed and scaled, and the fuel cell energy system is actually ready to get launched. Our mission is to reduce the CO2 footprint of our brand and our industry fast and sustainable, and our way forward is electric mobility. It does not include that one day Volkswagen brand and group will get engaged with fuel cells. It's just not for now. That's why we've gone our route, and this is our mission in the coming years.
Yes. One question more, please. Do you plan to cooperate with other companies with your modular electric powertrain?
It is public since Geneva that we are offering the platform to other companies. We've started to discuss with startup companies, those small and limited production runs, which can't afford the technology if they have to develop that. That actually is the easy part of the job. But we've opened the platform to other volume manufacturers. We have discussions, but they are far from being close. But yes, Volkswagen is committed to opening the platform system to other manufacturers to reach scale for everybody and everybody's sake as soon as possible.
Thanks. So we have the next question here, and then in the back, I think it's Bill Boston, right? Great.
Hello, Adrian Mitra, my name. One question, how did you manage to solve the problem with the weight? As I see, the batteries are quite big, looking at today's standards, and the weight of the battery is very important. So how did you manage to solve the problem with the weight on this car? Thank you.
Okay, it's a very good question. Again, all details on weight and other factors of the car will be revealed and discussed in Frankfurt. It is a balance. The battery weighs a certain amount of kilograms. You can't change the battery cell per se, which is a big part of vehicle weight. So it's a balanced approach. Offer the right size of the car, offer the right package of the car to have a full family operating car, and then actually basically doing that in a weight balance that actually still makes sense for our owners. But all details on weights, please, I have to set on pause until we resume in Frankfurt. How are you doing?
We have, I think, first...
Oh, no, he has been raising hands for minutes.
Okay. Then please.
Dankeschön. My question is about the dealer network. Is any change in the dealer network? They are selected, or every dealer can sell this ID3? And the second question is, you mentioned about the simplified sales systems through the digital transformations. How about these ideas?
Okay. I think it's a very straightforward answer. In contrast to many other players in our industry, we are convinced that dealers help. And they're a necessary part for our transformation. And they're one of the key partners to scale our operation going forward. So we've discussed with our dealers our, we call future sales model and future sales system. The European dealers have basically subscribed to a new sales contract with us. And all of the dealers who have subscribed will be able to sell ID. It becomes a franchise within the Volkswagen franchise. New rules overall, not only for the ID, and mainly in the way we operate with each other. The system of Volkswagen in distribution has understood that we need to change the parameter, how do we treat the customer. We can't allow too many process breakpoints between us and the dealers, so we have to integrate as one. And you see this today. The pre-booking is a great example of this new world of Volkswagen in distribution. Pre-booking platform is central, so operated by us and our team, but each pre-booking scheme includes mandatory a dealer of choice. So we're not taking it away from our dealers, we're including our dealers as part of the value stream. This technology will pose questions, and people want to talk to people, not only to platforms. And dealers have a huge role to play of giving trust and comfort to our customers and adopting the ID technology. So we are marching hand in hand with our dealers, but we've well understood that retailing is changing. It has changed in every industry. It will change in ours. And we have to combine forces and think as one to really be sustainable for the future. But we are embarking. Today, especially, a start of this new movement as well.
Hi, Mr. Stockman, William Boston from the Wall Street Journal. I have a couple of questions. One, you have a target of, as Volkswagen Group, of 22 million electric vehicles, I think by 2025, correct me if I'm wrong. Today, battery electric and plug-in hybrids make up 2.5% of the European market, and you're talking about up to 100,000 vehicles, to produce 100,000 vehicles or under 100,000 in 2020 and then from 2021. So how are you going to get from a very low base and niche demand to 22 million vehicles? Okay. Or is it just a hobby? Are you going to make them for Volkswagen employees? Second question is about getting the word out. What's your strategy for advertising? Who are you targeting? What's your target group? In the video you showed there, this very millennial focused. Is that who you see as your customer going forward? And where will you advertise? Is there going to be a conventional TV campaign? When does that start? When are we going to see the ads? Or is this going to be largely social media based? And the last question, I wanted to re-ask the question that a colleague asked before about availability outside of Europe. When does it get started in China, especially, and how important is China in your strategy, your marketing strategy?
A lot of questions.
Yeah. So
let me start with a simple one. Who is target group for our campaign? And the campaign that I showed to you starts to break on May 25th. Many of you should have received in their Facebook accounts conversation and targeted conversation on ID in the past weeks. So the initial target group that we have is early adopters. The innovators are already out there driving e-cars. We are actually targeting now in the early phase this early adopter group, people who are knowledgeable, people who are willing to move, and they need comfort level to say, is this brand trustable? What's the plan? What's the core idea? So that's the core target group, let's say, for the first year or year and a half for our communication. But that does not exclude that we go broadcast, mass, because this is about positioning Volkswagen into a new era and a new scheme. So the campaign behind me will be aired on TV to a much bigger audience than just the targeted sort of initial buyers group that we have. Looking at the relevance of the cars, how do we get there? It's what I've done and explained to you today. We are offering stunningly sexy cars that are easy to operate, affordable to own, cars that have long range, and we are working on the environment of the cars with the charging infrastructure, charging supply to make ownership of a car as simple as possible going forward. That's going to be breaking all of the barriers down as much as we can, but we see now actually a huge leverage in the market with other suppliers that will help us to break down these barriers for electric mobility. We're changing our platform with our dealers. All of our dealers are out there investing into electric mobility now, of getting ready for this move. And the seriousness of this move shows that a large part of our investment is going electric. We're not playing. We haven't said that, yes, we will do all technologies and keep open to everything. That's not the case with Volkswagen. We go electric. And if Volkswagen goes something, we will move things. It's as simple as that. We are a major player in this industry. If we move, a lot of people will follow us. We see this already in the first weeks. So it will be about great products, great ownership experience, I think affordable prices, and again, sort of real life that goes electric and ignites with people. Without great cars, you won't have success, and we will have them quite very, very clearly. Now, on numbers, that's important. I know there have been many numbers put out there. To be clear on the next step, in the next year, we will be sort of aiming at a total number of electric cars clearly beyond 100,000, and that's including plug-in hybrids and electric cars, which is e-up, e-Golf in the first half, and then ID itself in Europe. That's the European number. That's the number that we have to understand. At the same time, we are launching electric cars, battery electric cars in China, and there will be another big chunk of cars going to the Chinese market for the Chinese supply. And very soon after our production start of the ID in Europe, we will see the first production start of Chinese IDs going into the plant in Chinese plants. All of the cars are localized. So China will be rapidly outpacing Europe at any pace that you can imagine. So the Chinese battery electric demand for cars will exceed the European one clearly. And then actually as a third step, we go to the United States and actually open our first facility with our ID family in the United States. More about that then from Scott Keogh and his team when we get closer to actually revealing that. But ID will be a global phenomenon, a global family of cars. And the number that we've always put out is Volkswagen brand on the year 2025, at least 1 million cars sold. That's the aim. Probably and likely more than that, but that's the minimum number of pure electric cars sold under the logo of ID by 2025. So these are the numbers. I know they can be irritating.
Thanks. So I saw a few more hands up there in the back.
Thank you.
We'll start here and then go back.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. My name is Klaus Ludewig. I'm from Mobile Geeks, from Germany here. And first of all, I'd like to say thank you to you for the interesting information about the ID, as well as the ability that I have the chance to be here today. So it's an honor for me. And the first question is, you've mentioned that the first edition of the ID3 will be coming with the standard navigation system. So does that mean that for the base model, the navigation system will be an extra option, so that customers need to pay extra for it? The second question is about connectivity and updates. Will it be possible to update the standard infotainment system over the air via navigation services, via multimedia services like Spotify and so on? The third question is about voice control. Will it be possible to install and use some popular services like Amazon Alexa in addition to the Volkswagen voice control? Thank you.
Okay. Let me start with functionality at production beginning and at handover of our customers. The ID3 first editions will all be future-proof. So the hardware and software that actually is required to be over-the-air updatable, or actually at the dealership updatable, is going to be provided with the first car that we hand over. That's the important piece. So the car is future-proof. As we develop our software and our software stacks, the car can and will get improved. There will be some software pieces which can be updated over the air, and some other ones which we will update in dealer. So the first pit stop that we have provisioned is actually in dealer to enable the over-the-air functionality. I've already mentioned that. Now, the online connectivity features is navigation and speech. That's online. So it's not an offline navigation, it's an online navigation. It's standard as the ID3. It will change later on as the customer wants maybe a base car. Then obviously this is enabled, but not actually sort of standard on the car. But I think you will be excited to see what we show you in Frankfurt. We've done the user experience journey just a few weeks ago with the entire team on going through ordering, through servicing of the car, and it's something very new and refreshing for Volkswagen. Simple. It's not exactly the second name that we have, but we want to be simple, straightforward, easy to configure. Something very new for us.
Thank you. We have a few more there.
Hello, my name is Peter Murphy. I'm a reporter at S&P Global Market Intelligence, a financial publication. Congratulations on the ID. I'd like to ask two questions about batteries. First of all, I remember a few months ago you had an announcement that I think there was a planned investment of about 30 billion in batteries through 2030. Does that mean that you've done everything that you need to do to guarantee the supply of battery cells and that that's no longer really an issue? And the second question is about the after the car's useful life. How much of a plan is there, at Volkswagen and throughout the industry in general, or through governments? Once the car leaves the showroom, is the battery kind of out of Volkswagen's hands, or is there any kind of responsibility for the manufacturer to see what happens at the end of its life?
Okay. Let me start with the end. It's the recycling piece. Obviously, we as a team will be responsible for recycling. In today's world, we are already. And I think just to give you a figure, only 30% of the cars return to our hands. 70% go elsewhere. They don't return to us. We do regard the battery to be an asset of the future, not a problem of the future. So we are investing heavily into recycling technologies. I'll bring back the raw materials from the material grid. We've just mentioned cobalt and other sort of raw materials which have high value, and we should bring them back and reuse them actually in future. There will be a second life use of the battery. So even though the car the battery might be run out of production, out of service in the car, it will be a great battery for a house operation. To be put into sort of a house battery system. So we don't really think that batteries per se in future are a huge problem. They're more of an asset than an issue. But obviously it is some time before we have larger volumes of batteries returning to us. This is happening on the go. We're doing it right now. First question?
First one was on supply.
Supply. I would say that everything which is humanly controllable has been done to secure supply. As we speak, our suppliers and partners are setting up factories in Europe for not only us, but for the battery demand of the coming years. So we basically have a parallel movement of new technology from our end, a new factory from our end, new connectivity technology from our end, and a supply base which is investing into basically Europeanizing a technology into Europe at the same time. So everything which I would say can be secured, we have secured. So volume is secure. Will there be any problems in the ramp-up of the whole thing? Maybe. We'll see as we get there. But I would say that everything which can be humanly controllable, we have done.
Okay, there are a few more in the back.
Stefan Menzel, Handelsblatt. One easy question, Mr. Stackmann. Are you making money with the first edition?
The statement on this good question has never changed. We are a business company, so obviously we are responsible for environment, we're responsible for society and the change, but we are equally responsible for our employees and our investors. So the plan and commitment for us as a management team is to run a profitable operation with our ID family in the first life of these cars. This is our commitment, and we will be able to achieve this commitment. We want and will make money with the ID family. Will that be true in the first 1 or 2 years with all of this huge wave of investment going to the company? Needs to be seen. But as a management team, we are clearly committed to be profitable with IDs, standalone. So not actually with juggling CO2 emissions left and right, but the ID family per se must make money. And Dr. Dies has, I think, very often said, the manufacturer that can change the footprint and become CO2 positive and make money with these cars is going to be in a great position for a sustainable future.
Okay, thank you. And we have a few more back there waiting very long, and then I saw some here and here.
I'll be quick. 3 quick questions. This is Wilfried Eckeldorfer from Manager Magazine. Mr. Stackmann, what I wanted to know is actually your competitor in the US had, I think, 300,000 pre-bookings when launching their model within the first couple of weeks. What's your aim, or when would the ID3 be considered a success in terms of pre-bookings, say, till the Frankfurt Auto Show? That was my first question. Second one, we didn't talk about autonomous driving, something that your competitor's trumping on quite a bit recently as well. Is the ID3 equipped for autonomous driving as well? And will you offer that, for example, with an OTA update? And the third question would be, well, we've heard quite a bit about numbers and prices and things like that. What I missed a bit was some idea about novel ways to actually sell a car. What you told us about was pretty much the old model of selling a car to the customer. Some of your competitors offer, for example, subscriptions, other mobility services. Can you maybe explain a bit as well where you want to take the ID brand to in that terms? Thanks.
Okay. Again, I'll start with the latest part of your questions. obviously we are innovating distribution as we speak. And as we get closer to launch and putting real orders down, we will reveal the full strength of our ID distribution modeling that we've done. So you should expect very innovative schemes from the Volkswagen brand in relation to ID. It's a unique opportunity to change the way we act in front of our customers, and we'll see multiple ways of being able to own or use basically the ID in the future. It's a unique opportunity for all of us.
Autonomous driving?
So, autonomous drive. I think the car is equipped with capabilities that reach to level 3 in the future. We are actually quite skeptical on timelines to get to full autonomous drive, ID5, level 5 systems. And I think all that deadlines and timelines that we've seen so far have been broken. There is huge amount of investment going into this scheme of autonomous drive, but we believe it will take longer and will be much more costly than people believe to offer to our customers. But the car physically is equipped for a level 3, and as software develops and evolves, we'll be able to put it in the cars and offer it to our customers.
And the pre-booking?
Oh, pre-booking success. I think that was a great question. Obviously, we went through that's a nice piece of following someone. Do we want to beat him on numbers, or do we want to beat him on whatever? And we concluded that's not about having the biggest numbers in your hands with large number of disappointed customers waiting in queues forever. So we decided to limit the first edition to exactly 30,000. So there will not be 30,001 first editions cars sold. It will be first come, first serve. I do believe that we'll be able to declare that we are sold out on pre-booking around September when we meet again around the Frankfurt Motor Show. And then actually we just move to normal ordering. We want to make the ID a normal car. And normal processes, normal waiting times, just get into the flow of normality rather than having something which is I would say a big number just because the big number sounds great. That's why we've decided for something else, a limited volume, and the excitement in the markets is huge. I do believe that, again, this will be actually pre-booked very soon.
Okay. So we have one more there.
I'm Skilbeck from Elbil24 in Norway. Can you tell us a little bit about Northvolt and the EBU and when this will have an impact for the ID series?
So which one?
Northvolt and the EBU, the battery union.
North?
Yeah, we have formed a European battery union with Northvolt.
Okay. Well, I think I'm not the biggest expert on that, so I don't want to mumble around. It is quite clear that Volkswagen needs to get engaged with battery electric development and production in the future. It is basically the engine of the future, so we better get deeply engaged. We don't have a European solution yet. Basically, the technology and the knowledge is very much Asia-based. So we are actually quite keen as a group to get deeply into the development stream of battery technology, and you should expect us as group, maybe with partners in Europe, to really found a company going forward. It is the engine of the future. So we have to get deep under the skin of the battery. But it's way too early to make a firm timeline on when, with who, and where. It's just too early.
Yeah. So next question, I saw.
Hi.
Well, where's the mic?
Hi, I've got 2 quick questions.
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, I've got 2 quick questions for you. All 3 variants have a 58 kilowatt hour battery pack, but they've got different ranges. So are they software locked? And if so, can a customer who buys the base model upgrade via over-the-air to one with more range? And number 2, why have a reservation system, and will you have the same deposit system for future ID cars? Thank you.
Okay. No, I think we have to be clear on this one. There is 3 distinct battery pack sizes that we're offering. It's 45, 58, and 77 kilowatt hours. And we've basically starting our production now with the one that customers indicated in all of the clinics that we had as their prime choice, is 58, the middle pack. So no, you can't upgrade for more range, and it would be quite hideous to do this, because you would put all of the battery capacity in a car not using that. It's not a very wise way of using, I think, raw materials and resource. So clearly with the Volkswagen you will have different battery pack sizes going forward. They can even be bigger than that with bigger cars to follow. And it's your choice, but actually it's the choice for the lifetime of the vehicle.
Good. So, some hands here. And in the back. Okay, yeah.
Yvonne Simon, Kfz-Betrieb. 2 questions. How many cars do you want to sell in Germany? And when is the normal booking going to start? And is it going to be online as well, or just at the dealers?
Okay. We sort of have not revealed market-specific numbers yet, and we will only do this in Frankfurt. It's just too early for this. But as I said, in the European Union, we expect Germany and Norway to play the leading roles in volume terms for the ID family going forward. So these are the key markets. But there are some markets which we usually don't talk about too much. Netherlands will be a big market for the ID family. Austria has embarked on a big scheme going forward. Ireland has declared to go CO2 neutral in a short time frame. So I think it's very difficult to see where the momentum flows. I would expect Germany and Norway to be the biggest in volume terms, but we will see some major surprises in the European Union. China is much simpler. It's one market, one regime, one idea, and they will go electric very, very soon.
And dealers was the second.
Pardon me?
If it's only dealers, only online. That's the second question.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Just a bit of clarification. The model, this one, the 3, because I'm familiar with the names Cross and Buzz, the camper van. Is this kind of the electric Golf of, you already have an electric Golf, but is this going to be the top seller, the one we see behind you, the highest volume ID car? And the second question is, what will you call, or what will happen to this ID brand once Volkswagen is electric cars, or most of your cars are all electric anyway?
The ID3 will play a major role region by region. So it's going to be a key car for Europe because the European car industry especially is working around this compact hatch segment. You could call this a compact hatch. Once you sit in the car, you feel very different because it's a different drive feel, it's a different space feel in that car. But I leave that to you when you see the car, how you want to call it. It is compact on the outside, with huge amount of space on the inside. And it will be a key vehicle for this turnaround in Europe. Whether it crystallizes to be the #1 selling car needs to be seen. We've seen some change in our core model range as well. Golf actually is now on parallel terms with Tiguan around the world. So we actually leave it to the customers. We will give them several options and choices, and they pick what they want. I don't want to dictate what the customers need to have. I personally do believe when you see this car fully revealed in a few weeks from now, this is the car to beat for the future, for all of our competitors, just as Golf has been for the last 40 years.
So are there any more questions, or? If not, there's one more, and then it's the final one, because we have to come to an end.
Maybe a last one. Will we see the same logo at the Frankfurt Motor Show, or a new one?
You will need to wait a few more weeks, then I can give you the answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Jürgen, and thank you for presenting the new car.
Thank you very much for attending our press conference today. Thanks for attending and asking your great questions. Stay tuned. This is just the start, but we believe it will be a start of major significance for this industry. Thank you very much, and safe travels. Yeah.